Hello, Parkside fans, being joined by the new wrestling head coach for Rangers Wrestling, that being a familiar face, a Parkside alum and a Parkside Wrestling alum, that being Nick Becker. Nick, congratulations on the new position. Exciting times around the Parkside campus. How about for you, okay? So you get word that you are the new head coach of this program you're very familiar with. I guess what was your reaction upon getting that news? But then I guess also as you sit here and it's, becoming true and it's become a reality, what are the emotions, the feelings that are going through you?
Yeah, I mean, at first, obviously, I was excited. I was pumped up. I was ready to lead this program. And then shortly after that, I was humbled. I just reflected on my past and all the coaches, my family, my teammates, my friends, all the Parkside Wrestling fans, how they were such a strong support staff for me, and realistically helped me get to this point. So it's a very humbling opportunity, at the same time very exciting with everything going on with this athletic department. And the wrestling program as a whole. I know the wrestling room is loaded with tons of talent and a lot of guys with untapped potential. So I'm excited to hit the ground running here and get to know these guys a little bit more. The majority of them I have great relationships with. There's some guys that are new faces, and I'm excited to get to know those guys and just as a team continue to build a Parkside wrestling culture.
Well, let's hit on that a little bit more. So as you look at where this wrestling program is at, when you look at the facilities, when you look at the resources, I guess is there one area that you look at and say, this most excites me about this opportunity?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's really hard to pinpoint one thing. But I think the biggest thing would be just like you said, the resources that we have at our hands here at Parkside. Now, when I came to Parkside in 2014, we didn't have the best wrestling room by any means. We didn't have all these nice weight room, nice facilities. Obviously, there's a big renovation going on in D. Simone Gymnasium, so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to packing that full with Kenosha, Racine, and all the Parkside wrestling fans from all around the state of Wisconsin and beyond. So that just the resources and everything that I can use at my fingertips to give these student athletes the best experience they possibly can have. I had a great student-athlete experience here at Parkside, and I just want to pay that forward and give these guys on this team the best possible experience they can have and set them up for life after wrestling.
Talking about your experience, and you can't, get very far and looking at the history of this program without seeing your name, pop up all over the place with the run you had. It was just remarkable, and looking at some of the accolades, had a 3-time national champion, a 2-time NCAA Division II Wrestler of the Year, but the 89-0 record, I guess when you look back, when you look at the matches, when you look at some of the accolades, the accomplishments, what stands out to you about your time as a wrestler with this program?
Really, all the awards and accomplishments, they're all great, but really what stands out to me most is the relationships that I've built. And the relationships not only with my teammates and my coaches, but also just people in the community and the alumni. I'll say this, and I said it in an interview earlier, but our community, our alumni, all the fans and supporters, they are the backbone of Parkside Wrestling, and we wouldn't have the type of program and culture that we have now if it wasn't for Coach Cook and how he interacted and built those relationships with everyone involved in Parkside Wrestling. So credit to Coach Cook. He's the foundation of this program. I look to carry on that legacy. I got some big shoes to fill, but I'm grateful for the opportunity and ready to hit the ground running.
Seems like everywhere you go, though, you have a great deal of success, especially on the mat. And you go back to your prep days, a state champion with the Hartford Orioles, leading to your outstanding career as a Parkside Ranger. When you look at your success, what do you attribute that success to?
If I had to pinpoint to one thing, it's obviously my parents. I feel like they brought me and my brothers and sister up to have a strong work ethic, to respect all the traits and characteristics that I look to carry on to all these guys. So obviously my parents, but like you said, the Hartford community. Growing up in a small town of Hartford, Wisconsin, it was a big wrestling community, and it still is. All those people in the Hartford community, they formed me. So I like to say that I'm kind of a hybrid of all the people I encountered in my life, and that goes from my young on age when I was at Hartford, went to Central Michigan, and then I was up in Madison wrestling with Wisconsin Badgers for a year as a resident athlete training for the Olympics. So all those little things throughout my life, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one certain thing. Obviously, my parents are instrumental, and they're the biggest, but there's a lot more pieces that went into that puzzle, and I can't thank everyone along the way enough for what they've done for me.
When your time wrapped up on the mat with Parkside, you eventually became the graduate assistant. Was it always kind of in the back of your mind you wanted to stay involved in the sport some way, somehow? Was coaching a route that you thought about?
Yeah, coaching has really been a passion of mine for a long time. So I started coaching when I was young, on 17, 18, coaching little guys. So that it's always been something I loved. Obviously, as we both know, the career opportunities in coaching are few and far between. And I'm a really big family man. I love my family, and I could never see myself leaving the state of Wisconsin and being away from my family. And when this opportunity came up, I couldn't pass it up to basically be an hour away from my parents. My brother lives 3 minutes down the road. He's obviously going to stay on staff as a volunteer assistant and has an administrative role in this athletic department. So all those things, it's like the pieces just fell right into the puzzle, and it's truly awesome and very humbled by this.
Even though you had some coaching background prior to the graduate assistant job, was it still somewhat of a transition or a challenge going from being on the mat to the sideline, or was it an easy transition to make? And maybe from that experience, what did you learn about yourself, and how have you grown as a coach from that experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference from being an athlete to a coach was when I was an athlete, I was very, very tunnel visioned. I had one goal in mind, and obviously I led a hand to all of my teammates, and we all supported each other. But big scheme of things, as an athlete, you're tunnel vision. You're just looking to win that national title or whatever your goal may be. As a coach, obviously, you got to open your eyes and know each and everything about each and individual athlete and build those relationships and what's working for them on the mat, how their life is going outside, relationships, all those things. So I think that was the biggest change from an athlete to a coach, is just having a more open mind, broader perspective, and just being there, obviously, for the athletes, not only in the room, but in every aspect of life.
Well, let's piggyback off that a little bit, because I got to believe for you, that's a big advantage you have going in. Is you mentioned it earlier, you have relationships already with some of these wrestlers, you know their background, but also you're not that many years, only a couple of years, removed from being a student athlete yourself, and so you can relate to what they're going through, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. My brother Craig told me this a while ago. It was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he said, to be the best wrestler you possibly can be, to be the best student and the best person, you got to be willing to balance 3 things, and that's your academics, your social life, and your life as a wrestler. So those 3 things are what I'm going to instill in all the guys, and having that balance. But getting your question of yes, I am fresh out of the game. I'm going to be wrestling with these guys as much as I can if I'm not running the practice. I've been there. I know what it takes to reach the top level of Division II wrestling, and I'm excited to share everything that I have built up in my brain with these guys, because I haven't had that opportunity yet, and that's the exciting part. I think there's a lot of things that I can share with these guys that can really elevate them levels on the wrestling mat. And then also later on in life, using those traits, characteristics, qualities to be successful humans with after wrestling.
Well, again, I guess the piggyback again, I'll use that term off that answer. Okay, so you look at, it's still early in the game for you, but as you start to go through that recruiting process eventually down the road, when you start to try to put your stamp on this program, when you look at a wrestler, what do you want? What kind of a person, what kind of an athlete do you want in this program? How do you know that that's going to be a good fit for Parkside Wrestling?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, recruiting is going to start right away. Probably tonight I'll be making some phone calls, that's for sure. Definitely would love to get some guys in the Wisconsin area and surrounding states in this program this upcoming year. But I guess 2 things I'm looking for, and it was how my mindset was as a wrestler. I think there's 2 musts you have to have to be successful in the sport of wrestling, or really any sport. And one of them is heart, what you got in your chest here, how you can step out on the mat even if you're down by 10 points or 2 points. You're always giving your all, win or lose. The other one is just hard work. I know it's a very cliche statement, but you got to work hard to have success in this sport, with anything in life for that fact. But just coming in every day with that positive attitude, getting back to work even if you had a bad day the day before, just punching not really coming in, checking out, but you're giving your all day in and day out to this program to achieve your goals.
To wrap it all up, okay, so it is the off season. You talk about recruiting.
Yeah.
What else is on the agenda? How do you go about getting yourself prepared, but also these athletes prepared for what we hope will be a more normal-looking 2021-22 school year?
Yeah. Other things I look to do is just reach out to a lot of the alumni. I know they were big supporters of me as my time as an athlete. I want to get more involved in the community. From an administrative standpoint, obviously I have to touch base with all the administrative personnel here at Parkside. Start fundraising, obviously recruiting. I know 10, 12 guys are staying on campus this summer, so we'll be training all summer long. Some of them are going home, training in their hometowns and coming here when they can, so that's the exciting part. But just to hit the ground running is get these guys whatever they need from me first off, and then like you said, recruit, and touch base with everyone involved in the program. So it's exciting.
Well, Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
All the best this offseason. Nick Becker, your new wrestling head coach, a familiar face. He's back home. Again, the head coach for Parkside Wrestling.